Hi, welcome to another episode of Mom Does It All. If you're looking for encouragement, empowerment, and uplifting in motherhood and mompreneurship, this is a show for you. I'm your host, Marta Spurk, triplet mom, woman empowerment coach, and all things motivation extraordinaire. On this episode, I talk about how I'm gearing up for my first ever live event here in Denver and how I've never been more who I really am. I've found my calling in empowering women through self-love, and it feels amazing. Let's get right to it. So I debated whether I was going to record an episode today or wait until after my event tomorrow, but I decided I was going to record one just to talk about how I'm feeling gearing up to this and also do a little recap of my birthday week last week. And my husband calls it the 12 days of Marta instead of 12 days of Christmas because you have to celebrate your birthday for more than just the day of your birthday, right? I mean, that's what we do. So I did go out to eat, went to my favorite Village Inn on the day of my birthday with my husband and the kids. Got some free pie. It was delicious. And turns out kids actually eat free on Monday. So even though a birthday Monday is not the greatest, it worked out perfect. And then I went skiing with a friend, and that was super awesome because usually I go skiing only with Shane, but I felt comfortable enough, even though this was my first time this season, to go, and it felt amazing. It was a beautiful, beautiful day, sunny skies, blue skies, and then at night I had a little karaoke party with some friends. We went to this Mexican restaurant that has karaoke. It was just such a blast because I used to go to this restaurant a lot back when I lived here before having the kids. And to be able to come back there with a bunch of friends that I have made in these last 3 years, it was just amazing. And all the celebrations really culminate with the event tomorrow. And I am so proud of myself. Like, to end the year that I set out to be my year of in-person, my year of, visibility. And I have really made it. Like, this is a testament of everything that I have worked on, not only this year, but the last 3 years with my coaching, and to see all the friendships that I have made, and that this event that I'm having tomorrow really is a celebration of life. So it's got everything to do with my birthday and the fact that we're ending this year, and with the goal that I had for this year to do things in person, and then all of a sudden, being able to put this together in like less than 2 months, actually, because when I came back from Brazil, having done that workshop down there, I saw how it didn't have to be complicated and that people would be interested in this. And I just decided to put myself out there, and tickets are almost sold out. And so many people are coming. And, the friends that are supporting me with this, not only the speakers that accepted without blinking an eye when I said, hey, I'm putting this together, do you want to speak? It was like a yes from the beginning for all of them. And I am just so, so, so excited. And I wanted to talk about how I'm feeling, because at times I get a little bit nervous, like, what am I doing? Who am I to be organizing this and putting this together? And then I remember all the years that I used to participate in church conferences. Granted, I wasn't the one organizing it, and I wasn't, the keynote for that. I was, just participating in the worship and interpreting, but I was a part of all of that. And this has been making me not only nostalgic, but also seeing how, in a way, I'm following in my mother's footsteps and feeling really proud of her, too, for following her dream, being a stay-at-home mom and then going after her calling of being a pastor and helping people and organizing huge events in Brazil for years. And she still has her conferences now, too. And I see how, us women, we can just sit back and and people, there are women that really, really enjoy being stay-at-home moms and dedicating their lives to their family. But then I see my mom, who was a stay-at-home mom, just following her dreams alongside taking care of her family. And this is exactly what I'm doing. And I've said this several times before, how growing up, sometimes I didn't really understand why she was dedicating time outside of her family to do that. And now I really, really respect what she does. And it takes me becoming a mom to really appreciate my mom and see that I have a similar desire to help people. And I feel very, very blessed to be able to have found my voice and my mission through all of this. And really now understanding that part of this mission is helping other women do the same, understanding their voice and their calling in this life, and just supporting them through this. And yeah, well, at times I get a little bit nervous. I remember how easily this came together and how truly I was born for this. I was born to stand up in front of a crowd and encourage people. And what really makes my day is knowing that because of me putting myself out there and making myself uncomfortable, I have motivated somebody and encouraged somebody by really putting my ego aside and my insecurities aside. And I'm just over the moon, super excited for tomorrow. It's going to be a morning of transformation. That's what I'm really calling it, because this is my main goal, is having these women come in a certain way and leave a completely different way, leave different people, being more empowered in who they are through self-love. And this is something that somebody asked me when I was inviting them to come to the event. They were like, all right, so who's your audience? Who are you inviting for this event? And really, my audience is women, especially professional women, who want to be empowered through self-love. Because at the end of the day, if you don't really love yourself, then you don't really know yourself, because it takes getting to know yourself to truly be able to love yourself. And that's the only way you can get through life, right? Is knowing who you really are and then loving and cherishing that. And what's interesting is that through this process of creating this event, my husband has actually been questioning me a little bit more as he sees, me having this message with the event, and I'm carrying keychains and things that say self-love, I love myself. And he's like, but where do I fall into this? And I did make a post about this last week, saying that he specifically asked me, like, where do I fall in this? If you put yourself first, if you love yourself first, where do the kids go? And this is actually something that I would feel uncomfortable talking about. But now I feel like I'm so open into sharing my life and my feelings, and I feel like this is what has drawn people to me, is my openness and just honesty, really. And I told him, I said, it's not that I'm putting you or the kids last. It's really that I can't love anybody if I don't love myself. And I have come to really, really understand this, especially as I've been investigating the Enneagram more and understanding more about my personality type. And this is the first thing I say when people are having conflicts in their lives, with friends, with family, is I say, do you know what their personality type is? Because once you really understand why somebody is acting the way that they are, then it's easier to have a relationship. But it all starts with you understanding yourself very well, and then you can move on into understanding why people do what they do and how they show up in the world. And as I've been studying more of the Enneagram, it's been interesting to see that lots of Enneagram authors and people that are interested in the Enneagram are Christians. And that's another thing that I want to talk about, besides having to explain this to my husband and make him understand my mission and what I'm doing with my life right now. I've been understanding that I've never been closer to God. I've shared this several times. I come from a very strict Christian family, and getting married and moving away really was a moment for me to find my own path instead of following what was, I don't want to say imposed, but in a way it was imposed, right? Because it was my family's culture. And at times, because I haven't mentioned God in this work in the last 3 years, I feel like I have been leaving God aside. And lots of people have been finding me online because of my church days and because of my mom, and because I don't live in Brazil anymore. They're interested and curious to see what I'm doing, where I am. And when they see me talking about the self-love stuff, lots of people message me and say, do you still believe in the Bible? you are so different. You seem so different than when I used to know you before. And what I've noticed is that it's not that I'm different, it's that I'm more who I really am. And it's funny when you think, that when you're 18, you're the ultimate adult. When you're in your 20s, you think, oh my gosh, I know everything about life. And now I've just turned 33, and I really feel like I have never been more me than I am right now. Like I'm more my authentic self. I'm allowing myself to be who I am supposed to be, that little spark that I've had ever since I was a little kid. And I talk about this all the time, seeing my kids. I see how I'm not choosing who they are. They already show their personalities and their tastes and their talents and their inclinations. And we're all born with this. And throughout life, we lose sight of that because of responsibilities, because we need to go find a job and figure out life. But then we have to pay our bills and we lose that. And now, after having my kids at 33 years old, I feel like I am more me than ever before. And so when people think that I've changed, no, I've really been allowing myself to be who I really am, which is a super bubbly, energetic person that likes to make friends and talk to people, who is genuinely curious about other human beings and wants to strike conversations with everybody and know what they're all about. And so with this process, I didn't really want to put God in the middle of it because I was still trying to figure it out myself. Like, where does God fit in my life? Being a triplet mom, doing this work, not going to church several times a week like I used to, and being a professional, working as an interpreter. And it's interesting that as I started investigating the Enneagram more, I started seeing how I couldn't be closer to God because, especially in one of the books that I read, the author says, you can't really know God until you really know yourself. And this has been so true because as I've been studying neuroscience, as I've been studying the human psyche with everything that I'm doing with my coaching, I've been seeing how amazing we are and how there is no way this could have come about randomly, by chance. There has to have been a creator and a mastermind behind all of this. And it really makes sense that if you don't really know your strengths and your weaknesses, you can't really understand God and the purpose behind all of this. And so that's the next thing that I want to be bringing, and this is what I see for 2020, is not only more in-person events, because this is just the beginning with the event that I'm having tomorrow, and building better friendships and strong friendships and a community of supportive women that are empowered through self-love. But I also want to bring a different concept of God being present in your life just by the sheer fact of you knowing yourself so well. There is no room for competition or animosity with other people. And that's been another thing that I've been talking about, especially with the last episode that I had my friend Rebecca come on and talk about our friendship, is that once you truly know yourself, then you feel so confident in who you are that there is no room for animosity and competition. Because when people are ugly to you, you don't take it personally because you know your truth so well. And this is what the Bible talks about, is you just being so confident in that truth that no matter what circumstances bring, you're not shaken because you are so steadfast in that truth, in God's truth. And this is what I have been noticing, that the place where I used to be in church, we talked a lot about God and finding understanding that you are a child of God, that God has already done everything for you. And I feel like in a way we put a lot of pressure on God to perform for us when it's already been done. And it's all a matter of me figuring that out within me and understanding that God is who I am and I am God, that I am an extension of God. And so that's how I know for a fact, and I'm not even going to say that I believe or I feel, I know for a fact, I know this in my bones, that I am an extension of God, and the work that I'm doing has everything to do with God. Because when I am encouraging people to love themselves, isn't this the biggest commandment? That God wants us to really, really appreciate who we are, because if we are doing that, then we are appreciating Him, if He's the one that created all of this. So self-love really is the beginning of love. And now I'm coming to understand that in terms of God and in terms of creation, and really, really reconciling all the knowledge that I've had of the Bible. And this all began a year ago when I started investigating the Enneagram. I started seeing how science and God don't exclude themselves; they complement each other. And now I'm seeing that the work that I am doing, the inner work that I'm encouraging people to do, really goes hand in hand with God. And I want to be talking more about this because I'm finally like grasping this better, that I can teach and talk about it. But I've already said this last week. I've been doing weekly empowerment videos on Facebook. So if you're not my friend on Facebook, please go add me on there so we can connect, because I put out a lot of content and a lot of encouragement content as well. But I'm so excited for tomorrow. And of course, I'm going to be recording an episode with a recap of the event and everything. But again, if you're in the Denver area, there's still time, and you can still buy tickets at the door as well if you decide last minute. I know for some ladies it's hard because of childcare, because of it being in the middle of the week and they have work. But if for some reason you can make it last minute, we're going to be there waiting for you. Just show up. And another thing that I want to say is that I know ladies that are from out of state would love to come to the event, but of course it's tough, especially this time of year, to make it. But I am participating in a virtual conference that's called 12 Days of Confidence, put together by my friend Jordan Thompson. She was here on the podcast, and I have been on her podcast, The Journal Theory, as well. And she's doing these 12 Days of Confidence. So she has 12 different speakers talk about topics that have to do with confidence, and she invited me to be a part of it. So if you can't come to this to my event tomorrow, then you should definitely sign up for the 12 Days of Confidence and go check out these ladies talking about amazing things to help you boost your confidence, which is something that has got everything to do with what I do as well: empowerment, confidence, self-love. And I will be speaking on the 19th, so it's going to be on a Thursday, and I will be speaking at 2 p.m. Mountain Time. So that's 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific, but I will put the links in the show notes. So this is something that you can participate in to end your year on a strong note. And I would love for you to join the group and come check it out. The lives are going to be inside her private Facebook group called Shy Girl Bye, because she is all about, teaching women to be confident and losing the shyness. So I would love for you to participate. This is a great way to end your year and to also hear from me, because essentially I will be talking about what I will be talking about in my event tomorrow, which is modeling self-love, right? So knowing self-love for yourself, which in turn makes you able to model this to the people around you, especially for your kids, because this is really what I am so passionate about, is learning to love myself, because ultimately this is what I'm going to be teaching my kids. I can't be with them forever, right? They're going to grow and they're going to move on with their lives. But if they learn from me how to love themselves, they're going to be well on their way into living a happy, fulfilled life. So this is it for today. Just a quick recap, just touching base with you and letting you know what's going on in my world. And thank you so much for tuning in one more time. Please show up tomorrow if you're in the Denver area. I would love to come see you. And if not, until next time, bye.